Greetings and way welcome. My name is Jake Rayson. I am a wildlife and a food forest garden designer, and now I want to talk about native species for a windbreak hedge in a garden, in a forest garden, in any kind of garden really. Now, I did do a live stream earlier on today, and it was about establishing the kind of steps you take to establish a forest garden using an empty 1 acre field as an example. So this is a kind of add-on for that, but I thought I just want to do a little side live stream really, because I think it's really, really important that a forest garden is essentially an edible ecosystem. We're growing food. We're creating wildlife habitat and food for wildlife, so that we're creating a balanced ecosystem, so we reduce the amounts of inputs into that garden. So the food that you're creating, you're not putting any artificial fertilizer in, you're not putting any artificial pest control in at all. Everything's kind of homegrown within that garden. And a big part of this for me, a massive part of forest gardening is using native plants. My motto is use native plants where possible, and the places where you use native plants are in a hedge, in a windbreak hedge, and for ground cover, and in other kind of bits and pieces of areas. So this isn't to say that all plants in a forest garden should be native, far from it. What it is saying is the bulk of plants, the biomass of plants, and the diversity of plants, you can put a lot of native plants in there, which will do a hell of a lot of good for wildlife in so many different ways. So I just wanted to show you a few ideas. Now, a lot of these plants come from Linden Hawthorn, who I will put a link to her profile and her website in the show notes. And she kind of talked about using these plants in a hedge, and I really kind of picked up with it and did a bit of research about them. But this is just an overview, okay? So this isn't to say you must have all these plants in a hedge. This is just some kind of shrubs that you want. So let's just have a quick look. So one of my favourite ones, this is using the Plant Atlas website, the gallery. One of my favourite ones is Cornus. So the native Cornus is Cornus sanguinea, Bloodtwig Dogwood. And it's it's a pretty cool plant, pretty amazing plant, and this grows to a shrub to about 3 meters tall. And what's lovely about Cornus, about a dogwood, is that they're very easy to manage. They're kind of very well behaved. They're just nice plants, and they can be cut back easily and cut back quite hard. So they're really, really good plant. One of my favourites. Another plant that she mentioned was a Blackthorn. Now, you've got to be careful of Blackthorn. It's it's quite beautiful in spring. There's some out in blossom here. You have to be careful with it because it sends up suckers everywhere. So it depends if you've got the space for it. It is a brilliant wildlife plant because it's such good habitat because of the thorns, but it does send up suckers everywhere. You can use the berries as well, the sloes. But you've just got to you've got to watch out for these. Oh, is it going to come? Yeah, these things here, they're kind of lethal. If you get them in your skin, they are actually really poison. They're kind of poisonous. You need to have them removed. You need to get medical attention and get the thorn out of your finger. Otherwise, they can swell up really, really badly. But they are quite beautiful, and you do get a crop from them. So if you've got the space for them and a place to contain them, then yes, possibly. Depends on your setup. Another plant, what's this one? Oh, that is the Hawthorn. Another one is Buckthorn, Purging Buckthorn. This likes more calcium based soils, I think. I haven't grown it. I've specified it in a couple of places. Again, they're kind of interesting. This is wildlife plant, so that's interesting. And the other one is Alder Buckthorn, and the same thing. It's got leaves like an alder, and grows a few 3 meters high or so. So this is another kind of a good candidate for hedging. I've specified them. I haven't really kind of had that much direct experience with them, but they're kind of really interesting plants. Well worth recommending. What I have planted a fair bit is wild privet, And again, really easy to maintain. They hasn't got any thorns or anything, so it's kind of nice and easy and really, really good wildlife plant. Very strong smell with the flowers, and there's kind of the height varies a lot. Some people say it's 1.5 meters, 2 meters. Other people saying 3 meters tall, 4 meters. But again, wild privet, lovely plant. Another one is viminalis, Salix viminalis. The one I've actually used is Bowles hybrid, which is a very upright, 1.5 meter wide, 6 meter high. Can use it as a windbreak. It's a cross with a viminalis. So again, I've planted a couple of Bowles hybrid. Haven't planted Osier, the actual Salix viminalis itself, but very good for wildlife early on with the flowers. Really, really good for early pollinators. And then there's Hazel as well, and again, you can get a crop from Hazel. Not too sure if you're using it as a hedging plant, you might just be better off using non-specified, unnamed species, rather than spending a lot of money on individual hazels and put them into a hedge. Or you can propagate them yourself and then put them into a hedge, and you're going to get a better nut crop. These grow quite a bit taller. Can't remember off the top of my head, 6 meters, something like that. And then another one is a really brilliant wildlife plant is Hawthorn, native Hawthorn. The berries aren't that edible. You can make a nice ketchup with them. And there are a lot of North American hawthorns have much more edible apple-like fruit, but beautiful flowers blossom in early on in the year, and beautiful berries, and it's got some autumn colour as well. They do sometimes want to be a tree, depending upon where they are. Can be quite tree-like and can go up, and then they lose their foliage on the lower branches, which can be fine. If you want them in a hedge, sometimes you might have to cut them back to get them to bush out. So be aware of that. And they can get really tall. I've seen as a hawthorn down the road. I'm sure it's about 10 meters or something. It's giant. It's really, really, really big. It's growing in quite a shady spot. So there we go. That is just a few ideas for hedging plants for UK native windbreak hedges. So yeah, use native plants where possible in your gardens, and they're just obviously not as many choices in the species that you have and the cultivars, but you've got enough choices and enough combinations to create the infinite number of possibilities. Well, not infinite, but an awful lot more than you'll ever need. So there we go. Hope you find that interesting. Oops, where am I? There I am. Hope you find that interesting. Thanks for watching. I will kind of do this as a more polished presentation at some point for my online courses. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Cheers. Bye.